Welcome, everyone. We have Michael Regan with us from the Colorado Water Conservation Board, and he's a budget and policy analyst with them. And today he's going to be talking on the federal assistance program that they offer, and be letting everyone know how they can get assistance from them. So, Michael, go ahead and take it away there.
Thanks, Dustin. Hey, good morning, everybody. I really appreciate that opportunity to talk to you about this program we've got at CWCB. I recognize Neva Connolly. We're working on a little project with Neva that is moving a little slow, but hopefully we can get some momentum behind that. But anyways, good morning, everybody. I'm Mike Regan. I work for the Colorado Water Conservation Board. I'm a budget and policy analyst, and I manage our federal technical assistance program. It's a pretty neat program that's designed to help people access the huge amount of federal money that's available right now. And we can help you in a couple different ways. I've got a little PowerPoint. It's not super complicated, but let me see if I can get it up and running here, walk our way through that. All right, we're good. Can everybody see that? The CWCB Federal Technical Assistance Program is pretty new. It was created in spring 2022 by legislation, good old House Bill 22-1379, which I know forwards and backwards. The idea was that there's a huge amount of money available right now from various federal legislation, including the American Rescue Plan Act, or ARPA, the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act, and the Inflation Reduction Act. All of these have literally billions of dollars available for water projects. But the idea at the legislative level and also at CWCB was that just because this funding is available doesn't make it easy to get to. Some of the federal grant processes are just notoriously complex. Many agencies and entities simply don't have any bandwidth, that they have a staff of one, and that person does everything and doesn't have any more than the 50 hours a week they already work. And so the idea was that this legislation would make some resources available to help people submit really competitive federal grant applications to these programs. And the one kind of rock bottom requirement of every project we fund is that it has to help advance the goals and objectives of the Colorado Water Plan. Well, I think most people on this call will be familiar with the water plan and know how broad it is. It encompasses almost everything to do with raw, untreated water in the state. And we, so far in the maybe 30 projects I've worked on, we haven't had a problem finding a connection to the Colorado Water Plan. So that's the requirement, but it hasn't been an issue so far. We were appropriated $5 million in this federal ARPA, American Rescue Plan Act money, and instructed to distribute that among eligible entities in the state in two types of grants. We've got one program is called Local Capacity. We got $2.5 million to award to grantees to do a bunch of different things. These are direct awards, typically to people who want to hire their own contractors. And we can do, with these grants, you can do a couple different things. We can help you with project development on the front end, site assessment, data research, engineering, design, all these type of things, feasibility studies. The idea is that funding this work on the front end and helping grantees with this work will make their projects really competitive when they do get into the federal grants arena, which is just notoriously competitive. So we can help you get your projects more competitive on the front end, and then we can also help with grant writing or researching federal opportunities. Sometimes just navigating that federal grant process is just really difficult. We can help with people who are experts in that. It's designed to expand capacity, but only in a term-limited way. We can't really fund permanent ongoing staff. It's just not designed to work that way. We wish we could, but we can't. The technical assistance program is slightly different. The local capacity program was for people to hire their own contractors. And the technical assistance path, which is the other $2.5 million, we've hired a contractor. They're called Apt Associates. And they can do a bunch of different things. They're designed to be kind of a one-stop shop for people who don't have contractors that they have relationships with, that they know and love and have worked with for a bunch of years. App can do a bunch of different things for people, including all the things we just talked about. So it's sort of whatever your preference is. Whether you want to hire your own folks, you'll go down the local capacity path. If you want to work with a sort of multi-purpose contractor that we've already hired, you can go down the tech assistance path. So those are the two sort of directions you can take within the grant program. There are a few sort of conditions to the program. The one thing we require for all grant recipients is that you have to submit at least one federal grant application as part of your overall project. That's really the goal of the program, is to leverage those billions of dollars in federal money that's out there right now and try to bring as much of that as we can back to Colorado. And so submitting at least one federal application is a required task in every grant award we make. Matching funds are required. We kicked around not having matching funds as a requirement, but unfortunately, CWCB's experience is that when people have a match, it tends to lead to better projects because they have some skin in the game. So we thought about waiving that, and just couldn't get there. So there is a 25% match requirement with a few conditions. You must, there's a bunch of different eligible entities. Just about anybody is going to be eligible. One requirement is that you need a SAM registration or a universal entity identifier number. Those are through the federal government. The only reason we need that is to make sure that an entity is not precluded from receiving federal funds. Some people have maybe run into issues in the past and then they can't receive federal funds at the moment. We need to sort those out ahead of time. And the way we do that is through that SAM registration. It's a rolling program. You can submit whenever you're ready through December 2024. And then all the grants that we've awarded to date and also through December 2024 have to be expended by December 2026. So a little bit of a ticking clock. It's not, there's some time pressure on the award side. We need to have awarded all the funds by December 2024. And then after that, people have a couple of years to get their projects done. Here's where we are at the moment. The tech assistance program has been a little bit slower to get up and running. We've got about 5 active projects and are hoping to see a bunch more in the very near future. We recently contracted with some regional folks in each sort of quadrant of the state who are really connected to the water management entities in their region. They're going to be doing some outreach for us and helping draw projects to our program. We really do want to get all this money out the door. It would just be a shame to have gotten this ARPA appropriation and leave some money on the table. So we really want to get everything granted out by this December. So those regional folks are really going to help us. They're really connected within their water communities and are hopefully going to drive some work to us. We hope to have awarded all $2.5 million in grants by late fall, edging into November. So that's a little aspirational. I think we can get there. Hopefully we can make it. The local capacity program has been really popular since it went live in fall 2022. We've made about 15 grant awards to date, totaling $2 million. And the way that program is trending, we're likely to have awarded all $2.5 million by this summer. So if you're thinking about a local capacity application sooner rather than later, it's definitely better. We've of the grants we've awarded to people all over the state, and literally in every corner of the state, people have already submitted a bunch of federal grant applications that are under review. And we've had one grant award success. The Rio Grande Restoration Foundation got a $1.4 million Water Smart Award to improve some of their ditch infrastructure. Really neat projects, relatively small grant award from us, and they were able to leverage $1.4 million. And it's a really cool success. That's like a third of the money that we got for the program we've already brought back into Colorado in the form of a grant award. We're hopeful that there'll be a bunch of other really similar success stories in the really near future. As you probably know, the federal grant entities move a little bit slow. And so we've made a bunch of applications now that we don't expect to see any answers on until into 2025, frankly. It's just it's just a little bit of a slow moving program, but we're really hoping see some successes in the near future. So that's the program overview. That's really the gist of it. If you're interested, if you want to have some more discussion, if I can answer any questions for you, please drop me a line, shoot me a quick email. The address is on the screen here. That's by far the best way to get in touch with me. There's also a program website. If you just Google search CWCB Federal Technical Assistance Program, it'll pop right up. There's a lot of details in there. Please, I encourage everybody to reach out to me. I'd love to talk to you and see what we can do to help you out. And that's really it. That's my 5-minute spiel. Any questions? Anything anybody wants to talk about?
Yes, we'll open the floor to questions if anybody has any questions for Michael. We've got some time, so. Michael, I have a question. So I've heard that the SAM registration process can be daunting. Do you guys help with that process? Or I've heard of volunteer, like Apex accelerators. I don't know if you've heard of them or not, but they help with that. They help for free. They don't want anything. They're just helping with that SAM registration process. So I was wondering if you know of anybody that helps with that process.
Yeah, we've heard the same thing, that the full-on SAM registration can take a while. There was a big backlog earlier in 2022 when a bunch of different people were signing up. So it can be daunting and confusing. It can also be slow. What we've heard is that the UEI registration is kind of a subset of the SAM registration. It's a little more streamlined and a little faster. So people might want to go that route. In terms of helping with that, we really can't. It's just outside of our area of expertise to do that kind of federal registration. But the agency you mentioned sounds really interesting. If they have resources available to help people, that sounds great to me.
Yeah, let me. I'll drop a link into this chat here for anybody that might need help.
Oh, that's great.
That. And I don't know what they're about. They contacted me. They reached out. They're actually the gentleman's out of the Beck, and he reached out to me and said that he helps with that sort of thing. So
very cool.
Any other questions for Michael or anybody else on the call? Steve, I saw you start your video there. Did you have a question for Michael?
No, I just had a wandering finger that opened up my video.
Oh, yeah, I think you're on mute. Oh,
okay, sorry. In fact, I don't know what's going on here. Anyway, we did go through the technical assistance grant program, and we applied for a local ditch company for an infrastructure project there, piping project, and working with Michael and the CWCB staff has been great. It's gotten off to a slow start because in the meantime, the ditch company went ahead and applied for a QIP and got some engineering estimates through NRCS. And so that kind of eliminated most of our need for that technical assistance grant. And so, and then they went ahead and applied for a Water Smart grant, which was the second part of the technical assistance grant. So we're just trying to work with the ditch company to see what they actually need and if we can even accept this grant at this point, since all the tasks have been fulfilled. So
there's been some moving parts on that one. It's the nature of water projects. Everybody knows how complex they can be, and there's just been some moving parts. So yeah, that one's moved a little slow, but I think we're getting really close to the point where we can actually help the ditch company with some work. We really want to help them, especially some of the more resource strapped entities. It's just a real challenge for them to do federal projects. We really want to help people as much as we can. And Neva has been awesome. Thanks.
Thank you, Neva. Anybody else have anything for Michael? Michael, you got a little
I have a quick question.
yeah, Holly, go ahead.
Hi, Michael. I'm Holly, the district manager for Mesa Conservation District. And I was wondering, do you recommend with the technical assistance program, keeping the program to one particular project, or do you think that combining two projects for a grant application would be good if you're trying to get the planning and design of those two projects done within the time frame of December 2024?
Yeah, great question. It's kind of up to you. You could focus your application on a single project and just try to keep it really, or you could open it up and try to encompass as much of your need as you can in a single application. Just to clarify a little bit, the December 2024 deadline is for us, CWCB, to make grant awards. So, and then after that, there's 2 more years to actually do the project. So if you get your application in like October or November, and we give you a grant, you're good to go. The money's locked in, and we've got 2 years to do your project. So the December deadline is really more on CWCB to get the money committed in the form of grants. And then after that, there's a couple more years to wrap up the projects. But to answer your question, it's up to you. I would say in general, the stronger applications I've seen tend to be more focused. They're like a single project where the applicant says, hey, this is our need. Here's what we need help with. And it just kind of clarifies everything and makes it a little bit simpler to evaluate. That said, I've also seen at least one that I can think of application that involved multiple projects that's actually going really well. So up to you. I know that's not a very definitive answer, but it really does come down to your need, I would say.
Awesome. And thank you again for clarifying that,
yeah.
The time frames there. Appreciate that.
Sure.
Anybody else? Anybody else for Michael?
Well, thanks everybody. I appreciate taking you giving me a little bit of your time this morning. Like I said, if you have any questions, if you want to follow up with me, please just drop me a line. I'd be happy to chat with you.
Thank you, Michael. That was really informative, and like everyone knows on the call, feel free to reach out to Michael or your field specialist for any other questions that you might have about the program or anything else that you might need help with. So thank you, Michael, and we'll go ahead and adjourn. So
thanks everybody. Take care.
Thank you.
Thanks, Michael.